John, man, it looks like you got that belt on over your shoulder. Almost time to give that thing up. At tonight at 9 o'clock, there will be a new official belt holder. So we got a little bit left. I think the last time I looked, there was a 50 vote lead for the Jokers. So yeah, man. Hey, look, it's been a while since we've just talked Liberty sports. Let's check our Twitter, make sure everything's working here, and then we will get right into it. So we haven't done a podcast in a while. We're trying to figure out how to do this live stream and what works best and what people want to see and where we get the most engagement. And yeah, we're going to kind of treat this a little bit like a podcast. Got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to go all the way till 9 o'clock whenever the live results come in. We'll be talking with Jason Porter and Kyle Rode here in a few minutes to talk about basketball. But John, wanted to catch up with you. First off, we'll get your thoughts on all the Liberty Twitter Bracket Challenge stuff later. Wanted to ask you about some news that we've had recently with coaching hires and promotions. I know that the Liberty Football put it all out today. You've been writing stories about it, but mainly what it looks like to me is we've hired three new coaches, a DB coach, an offensive line coach, and then a defensive line assistant. Have they said what their positions will be at Liberty? Will they be the same as what they come in as?
Yeah, that was all announced officially today. But yeah, Liberty lost 3 position coaches. Sam Gregg, offensive line coach, left to become offensive coordinator at Southern Miss. Then also defensive coordinator Scott Simons took the same job at SMU. And Ricky Hunley, corners coach, went with him to SMU as corners coach. So Liberty needed 3 new position coaches, on-field position coaches, and they've now made those moves official. Chris Klinakis, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah,
he's
I
the new.
That a minute ago.
Yeah, he's the new offensive line coach. He's had a long and tenured coaching career. Most notably, he was co-offensive coordinator at Louisville for a period of time, including when Lamar Jackson was there and won the Heisman Trophy. He was most recently at South Alabama and was a quality control coach there, I believe. Then with the DC job coming open, as we've talked about before, Josh Aldridge and Jack Curtis, the defensive line and safeties coach, respectively, have been promoted to co-defensive coordinator roles. Aldridge is also going to be moving from defensive line to linebackers coach, which he's done that once or twice before. But so a change there. Liberty's brought in Jeremy Garrett as a defensive line coach. He's was with the Cleveland Browns most recently as an assistant defensive line coach there, and he's been there the last 2 years, and now he's coming over to Liberty as their defensive line coach. And then Darius Eubanks has been named as a defensive backs coach. He was most recently at Georgia State. He played his college ball at Georgia Southern, but he's been coaching the defensive backs at Georgia State the last couple of years. So several new changes, new faces that we'll see on Liberty's sidelines and in the coaching booth in 2022. Coach Freeze has always had at least one on-field coaching change each year, but this is the first year he's had more than one. So 3 different changes. But he actually, he was on the Flame Central podcast earlier this week, and he said that it was actually, change is a good thing. Change can be a good thing, and I agree with him. It'll be interesting to see how the co-defensive coordinator roles play out with Aldridge and Curtis, but looking forward to see what these guys bring. I think Garrett and Eubanks, there's some young up-and-coming guys that can provide a lot of energy to the coaching staff.
Yeah, basically I think that we kept some really heavy-hitting recruiters in Josh Aldridge, got a little bit younger there in a couple of places. Simons was great and Hundley was a great recruiter. And, offensive line, I don't know. I don't know what we're getting. We'll have to just time will tell. We have a lot of great experience in the NFL and P5 and offensive coordinator at Louisville and a lot of good resume stuff, but we'll just have to see how it all gels together. I like what Freeze does with the age gap. He talked about bringing in Curtis and Batoon as older guys because he felt like his staff was too young, and I feel like that he kind of plays that age gap and wants a little bit of everything. So overall, I guess I'm pretty excited about the offensive line coach, to be honest with you. Just the experience he brings, and by all accounts, a great offensive mind with the line. And then the defensive guy we got from Cleveland Browns, he's a defensive assistant in the NFL. I don't know what that means, how that translates, but he played for Freeze. He knows what's up with Freeze's stuff, so we'll have to see. All right, let's talk ASUN basketball. We just finished our second game, I believe, in conference play, first home game. The Flames have looked strong in both games, winning by double digits over North Florida. And who do we open up the season with? Stetson. Open up the conference play with Stetson. So we're 2-0. What just early, just cherry pick a few storylines in ASUN play so far. Is it the Flames being 2-0? Is that a surprise? Is it EKU being, what are some of those early storylines, some players to watch? If you had to pick top 2 or 3 things to get out of ASUN play so far, it's still early, 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise, Liberty's 2-0. I mean, going on the road and winning at Stetson, that was a tough game. We know Liberty's not played well there the last few years since joining the ASUN, really. Only winning there once last year when they played 2 games there. They split that, back-to-back series. So no surprise, Liberty's 2-0, especially beating North Florida. I think the biggest surprise, you kind of touched on it there, is Eastern Kentucky being 0-3 to start conference play. This was a team that was expected to, or it probably still is, I think you have to say they still are expected to compete for a conference championship right at the top there with Liberty. Of course, they're in the West Division of the ASUN with the new divisional alignment, but they've had some COVID issues. 3 of their top players have missed a few games. I'm not sure if they should be getting back to full strength or close to it. It's been a couple weeks now, so we'll have to see how they look this weekend and if they got some guys back this week. But them being 0-3 is a huge surprise. I still think they'll make a push. Bellarmine, I mean, you can count those guys out. You and I have talked about it before. You can count those guys out. We did last year countless times. And, again, this year they're kind of like an afterthought with some of these new teams coming in, EKU, Jacksonville State. But Bellarmine, you look up, they're 2-0. They run roughshod over Central Arkansas, who had opened up 2-0, which was a big surprise, too, them getting off to a good start. And they're supposed to be a basement dweller. So Bellarmine's off to a 2-0 start. I think they'll be, heard from there in the latter parts of the conference play. But I really think, we're talking about Liberty, and you and I talked about it a long time, last night and today, about Liberty getting a 4th straight regular season title, which has never been done in the ASUN before. And Liberty's in good position, and the first couple weeks of conference play has kind of made it even stronger position for that. Now, of course, nothing's won. Liberty still got 14 games in conference play left, so it's a long ways to go. But I think the biggest team to watch is Jacksonville State. They're 2-0 right now, another newcomer to the league. We'll see what happens with them. Keep an eye on them if you're looking for Liberty to have the top record and claim another ASUN regular season title. And that'll be a big game. The Gamecocks make the trip to Lynchburg this year, and they'll be playing at Liberty Arena. I think it's early February is when that game is. And that'll be a big game. So go ahead and circle that one on your calendar. Make sure you get out to the arena if you're able to. And, keep an eye on the Gamecocks. Again, with the expanded league, we don't play everybody twice. We play the East Division teams twice, home and away, and then just once against the West Division. So Jacksonville State's a team we only play once. But, so those are kind of the main takeaways so far as the first 2 weeks of conference play.
Yeah, as far as individual play, I really wanted to point out, John, what has Shiloh Robinson done for? And I mean, he's definitely to me the most improved this year, and what he's done over the last few games. I mean, probably doesn't surprise people that have been paying attention just because of his talent and what the coaches believe in him and his teammates believe in him, but. Really, to kind of put it all together and be as consistent. That's the thing. I thought we were going to see flashes of it, 2 games here, 3 games there. But it seems like he's reeled off a bunch of really good games in a row here. And last night, one of my favorite stats is he was 10 for 11 from the line last night, which is something, to be a big guy like that. He got to the line 11 times or 11 attempts and made 10 of them. That's going to be huge down the stretch here, especially in tournament play. And so on. So what can you say about Shiloh, and what has stood out the most and maybe clicked for him so far recently here in just a couple of minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually working on a feature story on Shiloh. I was doing some research, due diligence on his numbers and things over his career. But one thing Coach McKay has always said is he likes to bring guys in and redshirt them their first year, let them kind of learn the ropes of the system, learn the ropes of being a D1 athlete after coming in from high school. Learn their coaches, their teammates, and see their roles increase as time goes on. And then as a junior or senior, when they've got a lot of experience under their belts, they can come in and step in and play, primary roles. And, you see that with a lot of these, first and second year guys right now, like an Isaiah Warfield, a Micaiah B, even a Brody Peebles or Joseph Van Zant, though their roles are a little bit larger than some of those sophomores are right now. But, like on a B and on a Warfield, those are guys that haven't played a ton of minutes, not necessarily a lot of meaningful minutes, I think you could say. And their roles are pretty limited. But McKay's been able to keep them bought into the program. And I say all that to say this is what's happened with Shiloh. And I think Shiloh is a prime example for what McKay can sell to these other kids coming up in the next few years is, stay bought into this team, stay bought into the process, into this program, give it some time. And, when you're a junior, when you're a senior, you can take that next step. And we've seen that with Shiloh this year. I mean, his first 36 games as a Liberty Flame, he had one game that he reached double figures. The last 12 games, he's reached double figures 9 times.
Wow.
Including 21 as a career high last night against North Florida. So I think we're seeing everything click for him. He's always been a strong defensive player, but now he's turning it on offense. And to be that level of two-way player, I mean, he's right now a slam dunk for first team all conference. Obviously, there's a lot of season left to be played, so we'll see what happens. But just amazing the growth he's made in his game, even this year, but certainly over his 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really really fun to watch him grow. It's kind of the Alabama method: come and cut your teeth for 2 years, and then shine your junior and senior year for some of these guys. And I think that's kind of how McKay wants to build it, and it looks like it's going that way. All right, we got Jason and Kyle on deck here, but John, one last thing in 10 seconds: tell us where we are in net and where we are in Ken Palm. Just kind of, actually, you don't have to do that. We'll look that up. Tell us where we are if we make the tournament and win. Are we a 14 seed right now? I thought I saw we got bumped up from a 15.
Yeah, we're actually 113 in net rankings. I was looking that up earlier today. Ken Palm, I'll have to double check for you. We're around the same place, 113, 114, 115 right now, actually. So, but yeah, I think we're right hovering around as a 14 seed right now. We'll see how things go. I mean, if we have another strong finish in regular season play, 13-3, 14-2 type mark, which obviously we don't want to, put that cart before the horse necessarily, but we'll be right in line for a 13 or 14 seed. Still a lot of basketball to play, but right now I think we're right on the 14 line.
Yeah, it makes ASUN play a lot more fun. Like last night, we were playing North Florida, and there's a big difference between winning by 21 and winning by 14. Just with those types of rankings and your seeding and stuff. So, I encourage fans to dive in on that stuff. It makes these games a lot more interesting, especially when you're not just looking at wins and losses. You're looking at type of tournament seed. All right, John, we'll catch up with you here in a little bit. All right, we have with us our regulars now. Let's see how we can do this here. Let me get Kyle over here on the big screen. Man, dude, I'm a natural producer right now. Kyle, Jason, great to have you guys regulars on the show, I guess, and it's been a lot of fun. Jason, wanted to check in with you real quick. Kyle, have you bought a house yet, Kyle?
No.
Okay, so my man Kyle here is going to be a first-time home buyer eventually. Jason, what kind of words of wisdom do you have for first-time home buyers?
Yeah, there's some great stuff going on right now. Hi guys, good evening. Just to kind of get everybody caught up on a couple of things, we know sort of intuitively, I think for the most part, that there are some great incentives for first-time home buyers out there. Those have not gone away. But one of the things, sort of a two-part answer to that question, Chad, I think the first one that's pretty interesting is the fact that you can get into now, depending on the lenders, depending on your credit history, those kind of things, for as little as 3% down. So do the math on that. You're talking $100,000 house, $3,000, $200,000 house, $6,000. It's late night. I'm not going to go any higher math than that. But that's kind of part one. But here's the one that is just mind-numbing if people don't realize this. The clock actually starts over on first-time home buyers if you've rented for 3 years. Now think about that.
Wow,
In other words,
I didn't know
you
that.
could, yeah, Chad. So like if you guys had rented for 3 years, even if you've owned 15 homes, in the eyes of the lender, you start over as a first-time home buyer after 3 years. So you would then be
Wow.
eligible for that credit. One last little mind-boggling thing, since you brought Kyle up and we're picking on him for just a minute, you can also potentially, as the lender clears it, of course, go after a first-time home buyer credit once for Kyle. In other words, if he bought the house in his name, and then later they could buy a house in his wife's name and also take advantage of the first-time home buyer's credit twice, whichever finger that is. There we go.
Yeah, that's kind of amazing considering what lenders do for first-time home buyers with not just the credit, but the type of loans you qualify for, agricultural, all those different types of things. Very cool.
Indeed.
Great nugget there. All right, let's bring in the main man here, Kyle. Wanted to just basically um, first things first. 2-0 in ASON play. The team looks good. You guys, I wouldn't say have peaked, but you have definitely gotten better over the year with on both ends of the floor, and it's improving. I want to know what one. I know you're probably excited about that, but just your comments on playing ASON play, and if you work towards kind of peaking or playing your best ball at that point. And the second question is, what is practice like? And I know McKay joked last night he's going to make you run 17 line drills for, I think it was 17 turnovers or something. But is he just as intense during conference play? Like, hey, we still need to improve. We still need to get out there and bust it in practice. Or is it like just walkthroughs and kind of like strategy more so than just hey, let's get out here and get it? I want to know, like, so I feel like at fall camp or whatever, I feel like you're really into it, and then do you ease up or do you just kind of hammer it on a couple of days here in conference play?
Yeah, I think the first part of that question, like with the ASUN play, we've seen like how tough the conference is this year. We've got teams that all over the league that are doing a really good job with just building and how they've been on the road, at home, and I think we've tried to just focus on one game at a time. And coach always harps on that, and you guys probably get tired of it, but it's really the truth. And so to be 2-0 is exactly where we want to be, and we're focused on the next one. And then I guess the second part of that question is, coach doesn't let up a bit, so that means his players don't let up a bit, his staff doesn't let up a bit. But we work really smart. I will say that Coach Hand and Shrine are two of the best in their field, and coach trusts them. Trust them when, hey, we can ramp it up today. We can need to back off a little bit, and I think the preparation and the intensity definitely goes up in conference play. Even you could say. So I think that's a pretty good way to say it.
Yeah, Kyle, those are, part of my metrics back in the day, of course, was sports medicine stuff. Since you hit on that, I want to jump into that real quick. Take everybody behind the scenes a little bit. When you say Schreiner and Hen, you're talking about the strength and conditioning coach and Henry, and then the athletic trainer and Aaron. Talk about a little bit about their relationship and how different the conference play is when you're getting into heavy banging, how the weight routine may change, travel, and those kind of things. What kind of metrics are they using and paying attention to for you guys?
Yeah, I think one thing that I found interesting about college basketball is those two are probably the two you most interact with. I mean, especially whether you're in the weight room for 30 to 45 minutes a day, or just the input Coach Hen has on your development as a basketball player. A lot of it goes in the strength and conditioning side. So he wants to make sure you're eating right, sleeping good, and getting your work in the weight room so you can perform better. Then on the flip side, Shrine's really focused on our sleep and making sure our body feels right and our mind's good. They do a great job, whether it's through our sleep tracking. We wear those heart rate straps in the games. I'm sure you guys have seen those once or twice. And so they know pretty much everything they need to know about us, and that way we can prepare for the next game better, or keep doing the same thing. And that way, like day like today, we know what we can do in practice just based off a load standpoint. So they do a great job. It's first class for sure.
Yeah, that's a lot different than when when I was playing basketball, Jason. I'm sure than you. It was just like, all right, we are going to run till you can't run anymore, and then when you wake up tomorrow, hopefully we can do it again. And there was no tracking. I mean, it was like you only knew what your body could handle if you basically were dragging out of the gym, and the coach was like, well, I guess we ran too much or didn't run enough or whatever it is. So,
Trash can was
Kyle,
in the corner.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Kyle, talk about again, we talk about this every time, but I want to talk about the atmosphere, the experience of playing in Liberty Arena. For me as a fan coming there, it still kind of feels new in terms of just the amenities and figuring everything out. For you guys, is it still just you walk in there and you're like just blown away by the
Yeah,
opportunity to play in a facility like that? Especially, I mean, the people we're competing against in conference right now, some of the gyms we have to look at on TV, it's like, man, you guys come back home and you get to play in this like palace. Do you feel that way every time, or is it just like, oh, this is kind of a gym that we get to play in, or is it? I mean, for me as a fan, I'll tell you, I walk in there every time and I start looking around like I cannot believe that video board is so big, or the light
yeah.
show and everything. It's amazing. Do you have that awe still playing in there?
Oh, 100%. I think it just shows you like the dedication of like Coach McKay says it all the time to us, but like Dr. Follows vision. If it's Christian, it should be better. I feel like that whole arena embodies that. Really, our whole athletic program buys into that, and you see that with our Liberty Arena. It's first class, and this kind of with fans this year, it almost feels like brand new in a sense. Last year, I know we got to break it in the inaugural season, but that was 250 fans, and now you get 3,000 plus whatever every night, and it's a lot of fun.
Kyle, for the ball game last night, kind of curious. It seemed a little bit like a tale of two halves. You know, a little bit of a slower first half, maybe, and then second half. Man, you guys came out full throttle, ready to go. What did you see on film today as you went back and broke that down?
Yeah, no, I think they're a really good team, and with their point guard out, he does a lot for them, and I think offensively, um, we did a really good job guarding their actions. And of course, they were missing their starting point guard, so that always helps. But at the same time, they do a really good job scrambling defensively, trying to make you do different things than you normally do. Rotations are different, so I think our coaches did a great job of helping us adjust. And just sometimes when you're out there, you don't see it in slow motion or from a sideline perspective. So they always do a good job articulating what we need to do in the second half. I felt like we made really good adjustments. Shy was a beast all night, so that always helps. But it was great.
I guess looking ahead to conference play, you heard John and I talk a little bit about Shiloh. His development. It feels like this is what it feels like to me is that he has been this caged beast, so to speak, for about 6 months now. Ever since Oklahoma State last year, I felt like you can just see it. The way he runs, his skill level, it's right there, and it's finally starting to break out. Um, how exciting is that for you to see a teammate who is going through that really high peak in their development right now? It's obvious to us. I mean, his last 12 games, he's been balling out. He had a career high of 21 last night, but it seems to be consistent. It seems to be just kind of breaking out moment for him. How exciting is that for a teammate, especially a guy like Shiloh, who is by all accounts just a super humble, nice, soft, quiet guy. Um, Do you get pumped for that kind of stuff? Are you like, when you read that kind of stuff or you see those stats, is that something you're like, man, I knew it was coming? Just talk about Shiloh and what he's
100%,
been doing.
100%, man. So me and Shy were roommates in Summer Bridge in our freshman year. So got to know Shy from day one. I actually got to come on his official visit. There was a sea fall going on, so I came because I was already committed. So I knew Shiloh from his official visit to Summer Bridge roommates to him being in my wedding last May. So we've kind of got a special bond. I know him pretty well, especially on the court. He knows me pretty well. So it's been great to see him flourish and really just be who he is. Like everything he's doing for us is just who Shiloh is. He stays inside himself. He's all in for the team. He shows up to work every day. He's a great teammate. So like, everybody's so happy for him, but not surprised like at all. So I think it's a really cool mix, especially when you come in with somebody like Shy. It's really always cool to see him ball out.
Awesome.
He's been big for us this season.
Yeah, Kyle, I think it's interesting too, if depending on everyone's expertise that's tuning into us here, if you're used to the typical basketball, I think you're used to seeing that traditional five guy, or the fifth player, the center, if you will, the 6'10", 6'11" guy. Not the makeup of the team by any stretch, but guys your height, Shiloh's height, again, big dudes in the civilian world for sure. But the way that you guys kind of play off of each other for sure at that 6'8", 6'9" level, I think it's pretty powerful. How do you guys see that as a strength when you're going up against some of those guys that potentially are the 6'10" in the Power Fives? I know we've got a couple of big guys in the conference coming up too.
Yeah, no, I think me and Shy have always kind of complemented each other well, just defensively, offensively, what we can do. I know he's going to guard the best player on the other team, and that always helps. And I just try to be tough down low and box out and let the other guys get rebounds and stuff. But then offensively, Shy is so versatile in that he can stretch the floor, make a three, put the ball on the deck, finish at the rim, and really it's our whole team. Like it's just a matchup problem for, like you said, like traditional teams when they have to go against that, and then we can play traditional with Blake and Micaiah or even whatever lineups we put out there. So I think it's a really cool mix, and everybody on the court just wants to win. So it's a lot of fun for sure. And like you said, it's a little different, but it works.
All right.
Yeah, and then everything gets messed up when he brings the ball to the court.
Yeah. All right. Last question here, and I hope this works. I want you guys to watch this with me. Kyle, I want you to watch this video here.
Yep.
This is you standing up. You're getting pumped up. This is a GIF. I can see Scotty getting pumped up behind you. I'll watch it one more time. All right. So what I want to know, when I see this happen several times a game, okay? I see this happen. I would say on average, if I'm keeping stats 2 to 3 times a game, you're let's go. And even Alan York last night on the radio broadcast, he mimicked what you do. My question is, do you put the reins on yourself and you're like, all right, just stay cool. You're getting pumped up. Just stay cool. Or is that you on the other end saying, all right, let's go. My team needs me. Let's get fired up. Or is it neither of those? Is it just like that's just what happens when you play basketball? You've kind of just always been that way.
No, I think that's funny that you brought that up because that GIF, I've seen that GIF probably about 1 million times since I've been here. But I can still remember Caleb Holmesley gets doubled in the post, left hook pass to me in the corner, first game against Radford, right in front of our bench. He goes in, coach calls a timeout, place goes crazy, and it was probably one of the biggest shots that I've hit. Just I remember like it was yesterday, and so I was really just trying to give Caleb credit by pointing at him because he made that play. And no, it's really whatever the team needs. Like sometimes we need a little extra juice, and so normally it comes out once or twice a game, and
I love it.
It's fun.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey guys, Kyle and Jason, much appreciated your time this evening. Love it. Jason, how you like the new look? We'll ask you right here in front of everybody. How do you like the new look, the new digs here? It's pretty sweet, huh?
It's pretty fancy, man. I'd love to tell you I'm going to take any credit for that, but that is all Kaylee Callahan, man. She does all my graphic stuff for us and got it over to you. But producer Chad, you're on point, bro. I like it.
Let's get it. All right, guys, we will catch you next time. Kyle, good luck the rest of the way, and thank you very much.
Thanks.
Oh man, John, I get pumped up when I talk to those guys. Let's bring back in John Manson here. He's still got the belt, still hanging out. John, I put you on the spot there with the net and Ken Palm, and then also what seed we were going to be. I know immediately as soon as you went off air, you went and Googled all of that. So tell us what you figured out.
Well, I actually kind of had it right. It was I did have the net rankings right because I looked it up, this morning. But yeah, the Ken Palm, I looked that up while I was talking. But yeah, right around 14 to 15 seed, which I got to think that Liberty will kind of get the benefit of the doubt if they're on the line of a 14 or 15 or even a 13 or a 14, that they'll kind of get the benefit of the doubt based on their previous tournament success recently, the last 2-3 years. So I think, ultimately, hopefully the team can get to at least 12 conference wins, take care of business in the conference tournament. That's a lot of ifs, I know. But if they can do that, I think, 13 seed is staring them right in the face. They'll be there and have a chance in the NCAA tournament, in the big dance, to pull off that upset,
Yeah. All right. Well, before we shift gears here, I have one more. I want to give out a few. It's been 2 games, but I want to give out a few awards here. Just if you can close your mind off to the Stetson game and the North Florida game, just conference play so far. Who would you say has been the team's MVP?
Well, I mean, it's hard not to say Darius. I mean, everything flows through him, but at the same time, he hasn't been the team's leading scorer, I don't think, in either one. Maybe he tied for the leading scorer against Stetson, but I think it's really got to be Shiloh Robinson if you take Darius out of the equation. I mean, Shiloh is, I don't have his stats from the Stetson game in front of me, but, 21 points against he had 16 against Stetson, now that I recall, because it was a career high in points, and he broke that last night against North Florida. So he's averaging, 18 and a half points a game in the conference play. I mean, that's all conference numbers if you can keep that up. But I talked about it a lot, back in the summer and the preseason and early non-conference play. Was Shiloh was such a key factor for the Flames this season. Just by his versatility and his ability to affect the game on the defensive end of the floor with his length and you and Kyle were talking about it there a little bit, his athletic ability. Now you add to that the ability to score 12 to 15 points a game on any given night and to be able to shoot from 3. You and I talked about that a lot back in the summer. Like, man, if Shiloh could just get in the gym and shoot threes, 100 threes a day or whatever, to get his averages up to 30 to 35%, on the season, he'd be an all-conference player. And he hasn't even gotten to that level yet with his three-point shooting, but we're still seeing him, nip at the heels of possibly being an all-conference performer.
Power rankings, basketball power rankings. Who are your top 3 in the ASON after 2 or 3 games?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to put Liberty number 1 right now. 4-time defending champs and 2-0 so far. They look to be the head of the class, if you will. But I think Jacksonville State's got to be right there with them. I would probably put them at number 2. And then probably Bellarmine's going to be 3. Those are going to probably be their top 3. I think another team to watch, which Liberty will play coming up next Tuesday at Liberty Arena, is Jacksonville. They're a team that has a new coach, had to he had to go and completely have an entirely new roster. Just from guys transferring out and whatnot. And he's been able to build that into a very good team this year. They're 2-0 right now, 10-4 overall. And they're actually leading the conference in scoring defense, which that's something Liberty's done each of the past 3 years since joining the league. So it'll probably be a rock fight, low scoring game, first to 50 wins when the two meet up next week. But they're in the top half of the conference so far. We'll see if they can withstand that. But yeah, Liberty, Jacksonville State, Bellarmine, then probably Jacksonville and FGCU just behind them.
Yeah, it sounds about right. But I think there's a huge gap between Liberty and number 2. All right, John, let's shift gears here to the Liberty Twitter bracket challenge. Okay, so we got about 9 minutes before the thing ends. I wanted to get your just overall take on the engagement. What are you seeing in terms of numbers and unique visitors to the page, the website? Just talk about what this means to a seaofred.com. Like take your fan lens off. What does this mean for a seaofred.com and you and what you're trying to do and accomplish with that? Just tell us straight up. How is it affecting you, and is it good? Is it good for business, basically?
Well, it's funny. I had a guy come up to me, Paul Boyce, who's probably watching, so I don't want to leave him dry and not give him a shout out. But Paul Boyce, who was in the bracket challenge, I think did he win a game, maybe two?
He accused me of the same thing you're about to say, I bet.
Okay. Yeah, he came up to me and he said, John, I think I know who was behind the whole shenanigans on Twitter. And I'm like, who's that? And I'd love to get your idea. He said, it was you. You just wanted to get all this traffic to Sea of Red. And I just laughed. And no, I had nothing to do with it. As far as I know, nobody with the Sea of Red had anything to do with it. But it has been good. I mean, traffic on those days has, taken care of itself. I haven't worried about having to write articles on those days. I mean, of course, if there's any breaking news or anything, I put something out there. But I mean, traffic has maintained and sustained itself with that. And we've gotten a ton, like you mentioned, a ton of new visitors, people that have, never been first-time users on the website. And hopefully they'll stick around. I mean, I know some of them are probably friends and classmates and, co-workers and things of that nature of the people that in the bracket, but hopefully it's gotten some fringe Liberty fans to check it out and to know about it. And you and I talked about that today. Is we both had the belt there last night and walked around with it, and you mentioned this, and same thing happened for me. I had several people come up to me and ask, "What is that?" And what is that all about? And it's Sea Red. Yeah, I know what that is. Tell me more about it. So yeah, it's been a great thing. And ultimately, as we say all the time about a Sea Red, the whole point of everything that we do for a Sea Red is to further promote Liberty athletics, to further promote Liberty's fan base, further engage them, get them from being, I've said this many times, is, from being a casual fan to being a super engaged fan to being, a joker, where you're on the front row of every game, or Rise with Us, he's a huge fan too. Brent is, but that's what it's all about. So the larger our numbers are, the better it is. And this Liberty Twitter bracket challenge has done that. We saw it last year. It's been even better this year with engagement on social media. And all that certainly helps the Sea of Red too.
Yeah. So without further ado, we have the two people competing in the championship here. Let me bring them in. First, we will bring in James from the Jokers, and he's been with us, but we'll also bring in, first time on the stream, a lot of you have never seen his face before, so I'm excited for this moment. Rise with us. This is Mr. Brent. Brent, thank you for joining us, guys. We are coming down to the wire here. Brent, we'll start with you. When this thing first started, 64 teams, I forget what seed you were, a 2 or a 3, I know. You were a 2 seed. Did you think, wow, I have a chance to win this thing?
Yeah, I knew it would be tough, especially if you get matched up with the wrong, it's all about matchups. And Turtles has become a good friend of mine, and that guy, man, he, I didn't see him coming out like he did. I mean, who knew he was going to come out of the shell and start doing the videos and banging on baseball and my follower count. I told Turtle, so we had a fun exchange the other night. We had a good message going back and forth. So I enjoyed that. I had to poke the bear a little bit about him going after baseball a little bit. So I think that might have hurt you a little bit in the video. But it was fun, man. I knew it would be. You knew the 3 or 4 guys would be really tough with, and and I've been doing this for about a year and a half, so some of those have some more longevity of it, but yeah, it was fun, man. I hope we get here. I figured it would be Elite 8 or Final 4. Didn't know if we'd make it quite this far, but good stuff.
So, James, I want to hear about your strategy today. How did you get as many votes as you've gotten? What are your what's been working?
So again, we did the table. We got about 100 votes that way. It wasn't as successful, but hey, 100 votes is 100 votes. We're glad for that. And we have been texting literally everybody we can, going to halls on campus, just really reaching out to the biggest base that we have in the students. Like that's how we're gonna get votes. So that's why we're doing it.
Yeah. So, Brent, I know that you've mentioned a few times that it's 1 versus 40. It really is, man. It really is. These guys have mobilized. I was at the game last night. They have mobilized. James today. I was talking to James a little bit, and James was saying, "All right, we're sending 2 over to the cafeteria. We're sending 2 over here. We're sending 2 down to the convocation." And they just stood out there, and then right now they have a group message where they're like, all right, now it's time to hit the uncles and cousins, and they just blast out this text message. So how have you gotten so many votes? That's what I want to know. Are you I know you had told me a little bit about your top vote getting strategies, but do you think it's the endorsements? Do you think it's the shout outs at church? What's doing it for you?
Man, so I think I've killed both my phone batteries, work and personal. And some of the people are probably like, man, I haven't talked to you in like 10 years. What's going on here? Because the direct text works the best because everybody's like, it's personal. They go right to it, and yeah, we were feeling a little lonely last night. The Jokers got, Coach Freeze and McKay cornered and AY cornered. And so I had to get it. I was like, man, I'm going to get routed tomorrow if we don't get some of these guys up and going. So we were able to get some pretty key Liberty accounts, some endorsements today like that. And I thought we had one flipped from the Jokers, but man, it was Courtney. I may have got his personal vote, but didn't get his in public endorsement flipped. But so yeah, then obviously my pastor, man, he flipped a bunch of people over there, and then my wife's family's huge. They're probably like 100 people as well, and so that, and then at work, we got the Freedom First crowd going in there. That was probably another 100. We had loan committee first thing this morning, and so I was very distracted while presenting about $10 or $15 million in loans, and my phone kept popping, and my president was asking, like, what are you doing? I was like, just I'll explain it later. So, you're trying to send out links. You want to get out, get out of the gate early. So I had a couple mishaps on committee this morning with things that, I normally would have been a little better prepared for. So,
oh, that's great. That's great. So, I guess directly
so we got 1 minute left.
Yeah.
And right now, last refresh, Jokers are up 36 votes.
Yeah, so I agree. As I was talking to everybody doing this, direct links in the text messages were working. We got 1 minute left. Rise with us. We haven't had you on here very often. Well, this is your first time. I want to know what this has done for your account and how have you gotten your name out there? I mean, all these people at church now know you run a baseball-centric Liberty fan account. Is it helping your account at all, or are these people not Twitter followers? And what has it done for you just engaging with the Liberty community?
Yeah, no, it's been great. And, a lot of people knew who I was. We had season tickets to basketball, football. So a lot of the older guard, already had kind of bumped in. But really the other thing it's done has been great for baseball. I've been kind of a fan of the program a long time. I had a quick cup of coffee long enough to figure out I was a Jag, just another guy. I wasn't going to, go any further, but that was the whole point of starting it, because you guys do a good job covering the other sports. I thought, what, it'd be nice to get somebody out there to, to do that for the baseball and as well. And so that's been great, man. That was the other voting block too, man. Baseball, man, they really came out strong. Recruits and the team and the staff. So that was the other big piece for us. But man, yeah, it's been great.
So, all right, John, it is 9:00 here. Read the results. Tell us the number of votes and who wins the belt in the championship.
Well, it's almost 1,500 total votes.
Wow.
A narrow margin, 51-49. But congratulations, Jokers. The belt is coming to you.
Let's go. Hey,
Yeah.
Brent, rise with us. Seriously, great challenge today. We loved it. And as we said on Twitter today, we will see you at those baseball games.
That's awesome, man. All right,
pulled out the Major League GIF with the Wild thing. If you pull that out, man, you seriously, someone's going to get pegged in the head. So we get a couple walks out of it. Just wait, save it for the key spot. The 7th, 8th inning.
Yeah, exactly.
Particularly if it's like Virginia Tech or UVA, that would be a great one. Tech is some sore losers in baseball anyway, so that would be a great game to pull it out.
So,
All
Jokers, what's the plan with the belt this next year?
Yeah, so we're gonna have it at every game. Whether we'll have a guy wearing it at all times. Unless it's like a huge play, and then we're gonna use it to celebrate. So we've got some secret stuff that we're not gonna reveal now. You'll see it as the year goes on and into next year. But those are the two main things that we're gonna do.
Now, just remember that this belt gets passed on to the winner next year. So let's keep it clean as we can. I told Chad today if you guys won, we probably have plenty of red, white, and blue paint on there, which is fine. It can wash off, but we'll get this guy. I think, Chad, I haven't even talked to you about this, but I was thinking that actually Tuesday night we play Jacksonville. Liberty does at Liberty Arena. We'll have the official handoff or presentation to the Jokers right there courtside pregame.
Yeah, and I wanted to just say one last thing with Brent, and we can let him go, and then we'll ask the Jokers a few more questions. Brent, two things I have for you. One, were we stealing signs in the Virginia Tech game last year? That's the first thing I want to know. And the second thing I wanted to basically say, as a consolation prize, thank you for everything you've done for Liberty Twitter. It's going to be a big baseball season. Everybody that's watching, I'm sure you already do. Go follow Rise With Us. He's going to hit heavy. He's a baseball guy. He tells me all the time I'm not a baseball guy. He told me yesterday, Brent, I'm going to tell this out loud. He told me yesterday if I would jump on the bandwagon now and join baseball, he wouldn't call me out later. So I am officially in the baseball bandwagon. So I need to know if Virginia Tech, if we were stealing signs against Virginia Tech, which they said we were. That's one. And the second thing I wanted to say is we got courtside basketball tickets for you for second place. So we got 2 tickets down there. So hopefully you can enjoy those at a basketball game this year. I sat down there last night and it was a lot of fun. So hopefully you can enjoy those.
I saw that. I appreciate that. I hope they cleaned up the popcorn that you left. Second, no, we weren't stealing signs. If we were, they deserved it. You should hide them better. Third, one last run. You should take a look at them this year. You'll find out in the next 30 days as things come out. They're going to open the season against Florida. That'll be a top 25 matchup. Mm-hmm. 3 games on the road against the SEC team. I think they got the deepest pitching staff probably the program's ever had. Probably 10, 12 guys throwing in the 90s. 5, 6 legitimate starters. And then the offense they've plugged with some high impact transfer guys. Anyway, I would just pay attention to them because I think there's a great chance they're in a super regional this year, maybe even the College World Series. I mean, Coastal, our hated rival, pulled out a World Series a few years back, and I think we're on a similar talent level as those teams were now. So I would just say, pay attention. I know everybody's big football and basketball fans, but I think, softball and baseball are both so close to breaking that threshold. And when they do, it's fun. It'll be fun as a fan base to see everybody, kind of get on that, because the Omaha experience is a different, it's a different animal, and it's you just see a whole thing coming out. And we've been close. I mean, we've been in that regional final, 4 times out of the last 6 years, or 3 out of 5, something like that. So it's close. And if James pulls the bathrobe out, and if he doesn't get ejected by the umpire, then that might be worth an extra 2 wins above replacement. So I have to work that out with Coach Jackson, get those guys in there. But anyway, congrats,
awesome.
Guys. That was a good run, man. And hope to see you guys out there. No joke. In February.
Yeah, great stuff, man. And glad you got to get on your baseball stump speech there. It kind of won me over. I'm in. Don't tell me I'm a bandwagon when I go to some games this year. So I appreciate all you do, man.
Yep.
All right, James. John, do you have any other questions for James? I got a couple here.
No, fire away, man.
All right, who's going to be the basketball coach? Have you guys decided that?
So last night, the basketball team said that we may be able to have 2 guys. So I know that I will be one of them, and then I would say that probably my right-hand man the whole season, he's been helping me lead the Jokers. I got to give him a shout out. Joel Austin will probably be that other guy.
Awesome. That's incredible. And then you got the basketball and the football. Those are going to be passed down from generation of Joker to generation, or are those going to live in your garage? Where are you going to put the basketball and the football?
Yeah, so the basketball and football are going to go to a couple of other guys. We don't know exactly who to yet. We have an idea for one of them because he was actually in a car accident and he lost all the stuff that he got signed at the bowl game. So I think we're going to give the football to that guy. And then for the other one, we may have a Joker raffle and see who wins it.
Nice. All right. So
James, I want to say congratulations. You guys crushed it on behalf of the Jokers. Congratulations. And I mean, it's exciting what you guys have done. You know, everybody knows who the Jokers are when you come to a Liberty game, opposing teams, head coaches, obviously Liberty fans, coaches. You guys keep up that good work. You guys have been crushing it, and keep it going. And congrats on winning the belt.
Yeah, thank you. We'll keep up with what we're doing. Things like last night with Coach Driscoll signing that sign just shows that, like, hey, like, we're getting in their head, because if they're still wanting to talk to us after the game, like, we made a difference. So we'd love to see it.
And last question I have for you is, what has been sitting at these tables, texting everybody, rallying the troops, not only externally outside for getting Joker's name out there and getting people to join, what has it done for you guys internally? Has it brought you closer together? Is there more you guys had a common goal right now, and so you're all kind of more in unison? Do you think this has had a positive impact on the Jokers?
Yeah, for sure. So, like, with last year with COVID, like, the Jokers almost weren't a thing. So it was really awesome to see, like, this experience bring the new guys in, with some of us older guys like Joel and a guy named Blake and a guy named Caleb. Like, and then the newer guys, we got a guy named Grayson and Caleb and Grayson, another Caleb, and a guy named Luke. Like, it's been really cool to see us just kind of bond together even more. The bowl game was also really good for that, but this has been really awesome just to do this together, and like, now we have something to celebrate.
Awesome. We'll see you Tuesday night. John will bring the belt. We'll work on getting the ball and everything, and then we'll put you in contact with the SID there, and he can help you get determined about the coaches and stuff like that. But well deserved. I know you guys put in long days and long hours. That was unbelievable. John, you got anything else?
No, man, that was a lot of fun. To everybody watching, everybody that was in the field, congratulations. It was a fun run. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Come back stronger in 2022, because we got Chad and I made a list of people we left out that the committee snubbed, and you guys will be back in there in 2022. So everybody keep fanning the flames on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, ASOR.com, Liberty Arena, Williams Stadium, Liberty Baseball Stadium, everywhere. Just keep fanning the flames.
All right, guys, I'm going to make a special request here. Whenever we end the broadcast, that is the picture that is in the scrolling in everybody's feed whenever they see it. So, John, I want you to hold the belt up. Jokers, either smile big, give me a thumbs up, and I'm just going to try to look as handsome as possible. All right, here we go. Ready? I'm going to end the broadcast with this. So this will be what people see when they scroll. Ready? 1, 2, 3.